Hello and good Thursday evening. Thursday evening. I was going to say Tuesday. Rich Roberts, Fireman Rich here on the Rumble uh, with this uh, historic event here. And I'm just looking at my feeds here. And how come there is no title in the. Let me see some. I forgot to put the title here. Let me go. Okay. Rushing around here for this IFT-13 test flight for SpaceX Starship 40 and Heavy Booster number 20 at Rumble Video, at Twitch, at YouTube. That's where we're broadcasting, folks, for this 07.16.2000. It should be 26 as far as that goes. Let me see something here. Did we? Oh man, I tell you, I can mess up. Let's go ahead and change this. We got time. We have countdown is commencing right now. They're loading up the locks, and we're going to do a watch party here as soon as I correct my mistakes here. But we will get that done nonetheless, and get the titles in here on the. On our broadcast as far as that goes. I hope everybody's having a good week. I've been sort of missing on the live stream here the last couple of days, busy with some real world stuff and stuff. So I really did. They had just the booster, heavy booster 40 on the pad last night, and I'm thinking they're not going to have that tomorrow. And then this morning I saw that they brought in Starship 20 and had placed it on top of the heavy booster. So we are going to have a launch here, and we're currently down to about 20 minutes, and the status right now is got 14 minutes and 25 seconds to the no-go for propellant load, and there's a various, they're down to the checklist here as far as items that are okay. All right, we got audio. We got audio going. So let's see if we are okay. We have the SpaceX. Let's go ahead and share that tab, and we have SpaceX. We got 19 minutes and 34 seconds. I've got various feeds, but we're going to say primarily on the SpaceX X Live feed here. And if I get to it here, let's see. Okay, we'll go with that right there. And let's go ahead and bring that up here. And you can listen to that while I'm fixing my titles here in my broadcast. So we're broadcasting on, we got 4 people on Rumble, 1 person on Twitch, and 1 person over there on the YouTube for right now. So let me get this squared away here okay, we go right there. Oh, I gotta put it right there. Okay, let's see. Let's put that in there. Okay, let's see. Let's go ahead and go into the bring up the X feed here and share that. And let's see, maximize that. And while I fix my titles as far as that goes. So let's add that to the stage and give this a little bit of a listen, see what they're talking about.
400 gigabit space lasers. These 6 lasers will allow high bandwidth traffic to flow uninterrupted between any 2 points in the world with redundant paths across a petabit laser mesh network. And if that wasn't enough, the V3s will carry 4 quad-band radio frequency backhaul antennas. These will take advantage of the Ka, E, V, and W communication bands, allowing for an 8 times improvement in the supported capacity compared to our V2 sats. Now that's a lot of growth in capacity and capability, and as such, the new satellite design requires more power. So the solar arrays on V3 will generate approximately twice as much power as the current arrays that we fly on the V2 satellites. And they're also optimized to reduce drag in the lower orbital altitudes in which these satellites will operate. But before we operationalize these satellites, we want to put them in a flight-like environment. So these satellites were just loaded into Starship yesterday ahead of today's launch. And once deployed, the Starlink team will only have about 20 minutes of flight to speedrun some tests before the sats demise in the atmosphere. Now, the team will attempt to run tests such as extending the new solar arrays and antennas, connecting with ground stations, and turning on the satellite's communication systems. And this is all part of SpaceX's iterative process to technology advancement. And from the beginning, Starlink was designed to scale rapidly and improve continuously. From production to launch and ground infrastructure, Starlink is uniquely positioned to keep pace with rising demand around the world. In fact, just this week, we rolled out the next generation Starlink kit V5, which is built for reliable, high-speed home internet.
Okay, they're showing a commercial with Starlink and stuff like that. So we're just gonna we'll just go back to this screen here, and we'll go back here once they start showing. Okay, here we go. We're gonna go back to the page here. Here we go.
New satellite, our AI data centers satellite StarMind. I actually got to sit down recently with Elon and our director of satellite engineering, Ian Dahl. We covered a whole lot of stuff. The focus really was on the 3 limiting factors to making data centers in space a reality. The first factor we really dug into was needing way more mass to orbit. We're talking megatons, and that's where Starship comes in by combining full reusability, massive payload capacity that's essential to launch the number of satellites that we're talking about, because we plan to deploy up to 1 million AI satellites, and those are going to function as orbital data centers, leveraging Starship for that high volume, low cost launch. There's a couple of reasons why moving data centers to space has some pretty immediate advantages over building them here on Earth, which takes us to our next limiting factor, and that's power generation. Because guess what? It's always sunny in space. Satellites can harness near constant solar energy. I mean, you're tapping into an energy source that becomes the only way to scale if AI continues to grow at the pace that it is, especially when you contrast it with all of the challenges we see here on Earth. Within about 2 to 3 years, we believe space-based AI compute will become the lowest cost option as launch costs drop and Earth-based power constraints grow. So it's going to just transform how our planet powers AI. And to unlock all of that, we get to our third limiting factor. We need to make significantly more chips, and we got to do it fast. And that's where we're going with Terafab. This is going to be the most epic chip building effort ever. And we say epic. You just look at the scale of this thing. That's the size of a Tesla Gigafactory, about 10 million square feet. We need to think bigger. We're looking at about 100 million square feet. So you're talking 10 gigafactories worth of space. It all sounds a bit fantastical, a bit out there, but all of this together represents a step towards becoming a galactic civilization, harnessing more power from our nearest star, supporting the reality shifting AI applications that are coming, and advancing humanity's multiplanetary future. So if you want to learn more about that, you can watch that full conversation on our website at SpaceXAI/StarMind. So a lot of really cool stuff coming. Kate, future looking pretty sweet, but first things first, Flight 13.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The future is built on progressive steps like today's test. Now, let's dive into the flight profile.
Right, so today we'll be starting with liftoff of Pad 2 here at Starbase. Super Heavy will ignite those 33 Raptor 3 engines, and we will then power through ascent ahead of our hot stage separation, which is when the booster will shut down all but 5 engines at the bottom. Stage 2 will then light its own Raptor engines, pushing off of Super Heavy and starting that hot stage separation. We will then have the directional booster flip, with Super Heavy igniting those 33 Raptor engines. And after coasting for a few minutes, the booster will then target a landing burn and splash down a few miles off the coast of Starbase.
Ship keeps the fun going with its ascent burn to a suborbital trajectory. We then deploy those 20 Starlink V3 satellites, and we plan to relight a single Raptor engine. Re-entry then follows a few minutes later, which should provide some amazing views via Starlink of the ship's blistering re-entry through the Earth's atmosphere. A plasma blanket will form around the vehicle, and this never fails to provide epic scenes as the vehicle comes back. And lastly, we'll conclude today's test with a landing flip, landing burn, and a splashdown in the Indian Ocean. And with that, let's kick it back up to Dan for a countdown update.
Hey, thanks, Kate. Good news is very little news. We are continuing to look on track for a liftoff today, not tracking any issues on the vehicle or the pad side. Range status continues to be green. Reminder, we're tracking the range out in the Gulf off the coast of Starbase where we're launching over, and then also out in the Indian Ocean where we're hopefully sending a Starship in just about 11 minutes from now. Weather looks gorgeous. Blue skies, low winds, couple of clouds, not a concern for flight today. And again, the vehicle and the pad both looking great. We are in kind of the latter stages of propellant loading. We got into the go, no go with the flight control team at about T-minus 1 hour. And then we've been loading prop for about, quick math, about 26 minutes now. We're going to continue loading propellant, that's your liquid oxygen, your liquid methane, onto both of these vehicles until just a little over 2 minutes before we lift off. We'll close out on the ship at about 2 minutes and 10 seconds, and on the booster,
Thanks, Dan. Now, as teams prepare for today's launch from Texas, work is also continuing on the other side of the Gulf in Florida, where Starship will soon be launching, potentially later this year.
That's right. Starship flights from Florida will initially lift off from Launch Complex 39A at NASA's Kennedy Space Center. Teams are working through Starship system activations, performing initial tower chopstick motion tests, confirming the operation of the hold downs on the launch mount, and performing multiple integrated tests of the propellant farms, water farm, diverter, and launch mount. With Starship coming to 39A, the launch complex will soon have 2 operational pads for 2 very different rockets with Starship and Falcon Heavy. It has been awesome to see the 39A Starship program come to life over several years, and it's going to be exciting to soon see a Starship launch from this historic pad.
Yeah, we're super excited. But 39A isn't SpaceX's only pad in Florida. Just a few miles down the coast at Space Launch Complex 37, the first of 2 Starship launch pads at that site is quickly taking shape. Pad 37A is targeted to be ready for flight operations early next year, which is very fast considering we only started construction on the pad in November. This year, teams have worked through ground preparations at the pad and fuel farms while also fully excavating the flame trench for Pad 37A. In June, stacking began of the launch and catch tower, and you can see that there on your screen. And we have plans to complete that stacking in the coming weeks.
And a few miles west of Pad 37 is our Cape Giga Bay, where all Starship vehicles...
it's right at the top. Back over to you.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and they're just talking about, you can see the ship on the pad right there right now. And they're just getting the preliminary. I want to say welcome to the broadcast. I got the title taken care of. I had the misstate. I had a 2025 date, but this isn't a big production or anything. This is a watch party for this. I am stoked on this particular Starship mission, and it's a second version. And the one thing about this mission is that SpaceX will debut its long promising Starlink version 3 satellites that I guess they're going to be launching some as part of a suborbital test. I guess they have actual real satellites, and we'll be seeing them in the mission to be ejected out of space from Starship 40. That's the top of the Starship, the actual ship itself. Heavy booster is number 20, which will propel it up into a suborbital flight. And so the Starship Flight 13 mission is a second launch of the 3rd generation Starship Super Heavy launch vehicle, and the second mission for the program of this year. So this is the second launch for this year. And liftoff from Pad 2 at SpaceX Starbase facility is down there in southern Texas. And one of the things, it's sort of not connected, but in history on this day, it was back in 1969. That's when they launched Apollo 11, as far as on this day to go to the moon, because the moon landing is just, of course, July 20th. I've got that in my brain here. I remember that landing on the moon and the walking on the moon like it was yesterday and stuff like that. So that's how much of a space nerd I am. And so I am very pleased to bring this here. And we're going to be on for probably, we've been on for about 23 minutes now. We'll probably be on for at least a couple hours until Starship 40 makes its landing over there in the west coast of the Indian Ocean of Australia. And hello, Big Juice. You know what's going on. Read the title. Right there. That's what's going on. We've got a Starship launch, and we'll be here. Big Juice coming in from the Buckeye State of Ohio. Thank you, Big Juice. He's one of my regular viewers on the Twitch. And we currently have 4 people on Twitch. We have 3 people on, we have 4 people on Rumble, 3 people on Twitch, and 1 person on YouTube. So we've got 7 minutes and 37 seconds. Let me refresh that just to make sure. No, we're down to 5 minutes and 47 seconds. So let's get back to
2 minutes and 10 seconds before launch.
There we go.
And then the booster at about 2 minutes and 50. Once we're completely done prop loading, you've got about 11.5 million pounds of liquid propellant on board both stages. Then we start to get the pad itself ready for launch. We do what's called pushbacks. That's your clearing out all of those propellant feed lines that have been flowing from the tank farm into the tower, into the vehicles, push it back into the tank farm, and then we also start purging all of those lines with an inert gas, just getting it ready for launch. We'll do final thrust vector steering controls on our Raptor engines at about T-minus 100 seconds and then T-minus 60 seconds. If a hold is needed, shocking change, it's now going to come at T-minus 60 seconds. That's a new time. We've balanced out a couple of our final checks that happened before liftoff, and we moved them a little bit earlier before we start flying. So that time is now at T-minus 60. That's the point where we can pause to wait. We'll only hold there if there's an issue, and we can recycle back.
Minus 60 seconds passes, a number of events will occur in rapid succession. Both the ship and booster will configure their comm systems for flight and will rapidly run leak checks on gas and fluid tanks. The booster will also
Oh, let me bring it back up here, folks. Stand by.
That activates at T-minus 17 seconds, and if we trigger a hold after that, it will result in a scrub for the day. So we're now just under 3.5 minutes until liftoff. If you've recently joined, we're planning to deploy 20 of our Starlink V3 satellites. These are real V3s on board, so that's exciting. We also would like to perform a Raptor in-space relay as well.
That's right. And actually on the screen now, you're seeing an awesome view of our pad and the clouds that you're seeing coming off of our fuel tank farm, all now being used for its second time here for Flight 13.
All right, so we're through the 3-minute mark. So we should be closing out prop load on the booster any second now. And then the closeouts on the ship will come just a little bit after that. Again, we're looking a little over 11.5 million pounds of propellant on both of these vehicles. We are not currently tracking any holds on the board, which is always good news. Reminder, we have that built-in hold at T-minus 1 minute.
Okay, we're getting down to 2 minutes and 23 seconds here, and we'll just let it play out here.
But right now,
and
we have
Big
no
Juice,
holds
this is
on the
not going
board,
to the
so
moon. This is a
whole
suborbital
lot
flight.
on deck for Starship second
we're at
flight,
T-minus
Starship
2
version
minutes and
3,
10 seconds.
booster version 3, Raptor 3, looking to get off the pad here in 2 minutes. All right, so we are closing the fill drain valves for both vehicles. So we have finished out our propellant loading. 33 Raptor engines right there at the bottom of the booster getting ready to light up. Final wiggle checks happening now. You can see those inner 13 engines moving. Those are the ones that Super Heavy is going to be using to steer, do all its maneuvers. We just got through those. Okay, so we are 1 minute, 20 seconds away, counting down. We're going to listen in. Again, not tracking a hold, so we should move right past T-minus 1 minute. If we recycle back to it, we'll figure out why, and then we'll continue counting down. So let's go. T-minus 1 minute. Let's listen in. Let the rocket do the talking. See if we can get a Starship off the pad today. We did trigger a hold. And we did trigger a hold right at startup there. You saw we got a hold on the booster. So stick with us for a second. So we did trigger a hold on the booster that aborted our liftoff as we were starting to light those Raptor engines. As a reminder, since we already turned the diverter on, we are going to be scrubbed for the day. The team's already starting to pull for offload of both vehicles, so starting to get the prop off. We'll take a little bit of time to look into what triggered that abort. Usually we'll take some data review for all of our teams. But again, we did abort on the startup of the booster. So we weren't tracking any holds moving in to those final seconds into that final minute. But that is going to be a scrub for the day. So the team's now moving into commodity offload. We're going to take the methane and the oxygen.
Okay, that's a scrub. They had the engines lit briefly, and they shut them down. And oh, no! It happens, Big Juice. Yep, we'll probably see when they reschedule and stuff like that. And but it looks like we have a scrub right now. It looks like they reset the clock to 12 hours. I don't think. I think they'll reset that. But if the crew they're standing down on this. So that's what happens when you have these test flights. I wouldn't say it's a crock, big juice. I would say that they're doing the safe thing to doing because just to there's a lot of time and money involved in one of these. So if all T's are not crossed and I's dotted, they have to. But we did see a little bit of the start of the engine. Let's see what this gentleman has to say here.
Figure out when our next attempt is going to be. And obviously, we're going to keep you updated as well. So we'll dig into what our recycle time is, when we're going to be able to try again. Be sure to follow us on X at SpaceX. We're going to share updates there as soon as more information becomes available and when we can get back for flying. So thanks for tuning in today. Hopefully, we'll be back real soon for Flight 13 and another attempt.
Okay, so they're going to they're going to reschedule. So I got some other feeds here as far as that goes. Let's see what we have here as far as we might have some commentary from some folks here. Let me see what we have here on the feed. Okay, here we go.
So that they can proceed to the next attempt. Does that mean that I'm saying it's not going to happen tomorrow? No, I'm just saying maybe it doesn't happen tomorrow because they need to look more into that data. In fact, who knows if they might even need to destack even. Like, this is one of those things of this pad that they don't have access to the engines on the booster. And so it's a very interesting sort of, I guess it's a drawback of this design. It's a very good pad and whatnot, but they don't have access to the engines. And if they really want to have physical access to them, they will need to destack. So it's one of those things where it's a wait and see situation. We'll wait for any official communications from SpaceX.
You know what you won't have tomorrow, though, Alex? You won't have access to the NSF secret shop because with the scrub, that means the very rare Starship scrub merch comes out to play. And as you can see, it is only up for a limited time.
Okay,
there you go. I watched the whole stream, and all I got was a Starship scrub.
That's off of the folks from NASA Space Flight, which they have permission to use NASA in their title and stuff. But they're trying to search. That's one of the feeds that I monitor, and as far as that goes, and there it is. It's a Starship 40 on heavy booster number 20. Mission is scrubbed, and so we'll see what happens. And it's sort of that's one of the things that can happen as far as that goes on a mission. And it's still exciting to get up here just to see. It's something unique. This is the second flight for this year, and making the attempt on the anniversary today. Back in 1969 is when they launched the Saturn V. Of course, a lot of testing involved in that before they actually launched it, and they're getting into that routine now as far as something indicated to abort. And there's a lot of systems on that spacecraft right there, and a lot of complexity. And everything has to be fine-tuned, or else we're just going to have a big bang up in the sky. And but the one thing, they are going to be launching 20 actual Starlink satellites, which all the ones that they've tried before on the mechanism that pays them out. It's like a Pez dispenser off of the side of the Starship there on top of the heavy booster. And but there'll be actual working satellites, which they've never done that before. So we'll keep tabs on this. And let's see, do we have anything else up? Let's see, are they done with their commercial? Okay, let's go back to these guys here. Okay, this is off of NASA space flight, and today's launch has been aborted at ignition, and we did have some fire going there. I'm thinking, wow, this is going to go, and spoke too little too soon. So we will give this a try again. as far as that goes. And let's add that to the stage. There we go. So they're going to be defueling it with all the liquid oxygen and such. And they just went offline there. So it looks like the feeds are starting to wind down there as far as that goes. Oh, no, they're back up. Okay. But this is, for me, this is exciting. It's the 13th test flight of this huge rocket, one of the largest rocket, I would say, in the world, down there in Starbase, Texas. And let's see what else we have here. Anything? No, just a venting spacecraft as far as that goes, and and such. So there's some other feeds there. They're talking about the same thing. So I'm not going to extend this broadcast too much here as far as that goes. So it happens, folks. It happens, Big Juice, and I want my money back. Get it at the counter there, Big Juice. I don't know how you can get back free, but I've been watching these space launches ever since I was a little kid, and I never get tired of them, even when it's an abort. As far as that goes, I'd rather see an abort where you save it to where the space mission an objective is achieved. I don't want to see a big cannonball explosion as far as that goes. So we'll give it another try. I plan on being up and broadcasting it when it does come up, and watch it here online. And I appreciate your viewership as far as watching this. And let's see what else. We'll be broadcasting tomorrow on for the Friday morning coffee. I had yesterday off. I had some real world stuff to take care of with the missus, and that all went very well as far as that goes. And it actually went quite well. I've been holed up here in the house with the Canadian wildland fires that we've been having, and as far as that goes. And let's see, what am I looking at here? Oh, I'm looking at this. I got to bring up the banner here. There's the banner. There we go. I forgot to bring the banner up on this one. So there's been some heavy smoke all over New York State and a good portion of the Northeast here from those Canadian fires. And so hopefully it'll let up a little bit. I think it's supposed to let up tomorrow. And I posted, I think there was levels at, it's over on my X page there, that the levels were up in unhealthy range at current air quality was 174. It's supposed to get down into like right around 100 tomorrow, which is good. Anything 100 and below is fairly decent. So, but other than that, I want to say thank you, Big Juice, for being here. I greatly appreciate it. Try and be early or be on time tomorrow, okay? And Big Juice, he's a character there. He's one of my regular viewers there. Give him a shout out out there in the Buckeye State of Ohio, and appreciate you being here, Big Steve. Let's see. Oh, I saw that video. It's like it's telling me I'm not getting anywhere close to a buffalo. That's for sure. I thought the guy was a little ways away, and that's the one where he's chasing him around the tree. I think it went viral. It's like, man, that's the thing they didn't tell you. I saw that in the news is how is the guy now after the attack? It just he was running. He was probably scared to death. That was scary. That's a scary video. I don't think it's very. You could say it's comical, but when you get hit, that's real world stuff. There, it's like, ouch, big time. Yeah, he flipped the old man there. It's just like, wow. Yeah, exactly. He flipped him and stuff. That was the other day I saw that come out, Steve, and it was. He had the truck in between, but that bison, he had a visual on that person right there and went running around those trees, and he probably should have stayed right in the trees, but he got flipped up about maybe 16 feet, 18 feet up in the air, and that's a hard fall as far as that goes. He came flat on his back. I think he flipped him the bison buffalo. A bison is a buffalo, so much that I think he probably landed flat on his back. And I agree, should have never leave the car. It's like, but he was a ways away. I was surprised that I don't know. It might have been the mating season. Who knows? And he thought that the old man was trying to interfere with his the other female buffaloes in the area and stuff like that. I don't know, but yeah, that's one of those that is really out there and stuff. But that made the rounds. I don't usually look at those, but that was on the mainstream media as far as that goes. So yeah, he definitely should have stayed in his car. All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and exit stage left here. Again, I want to say thank you, Steve, and we'll be broadcasting tomorrow. And I got to make sure the title is up to tight. It's one of these things when you put up this wasn't really impromptu. I had things preset, but I didn't run over my checklist and stuff. Okay, Steve, we'll see you later. All right, see you. No, I won't see. Not if I see you first. Big Juice, always with the shower there. All right, folks. Rich Roberts. You can follow me over on X at Fireman Rich there, and that's where I do most of my postings here on this thing called the internet. And where am I going here? Okay, there we go. And for all those other platforms I'm on, just Google Fireman Rich and you'll see where else I'm at. So other than that, you all have a great one wherever you may be. And we'll be broadcasting tomorrow for the Friday morning coffee. And you're all more than welcome to join us. Starts at 6 a.m. I usually start a little bit, 10, 15 minutes before. And I've been good about that this year so far. So that's an accomplishment right there. And we're on for 2 hours, 6 to 4 or 6 to 8. And we get to play Friday. It's the thing that we do on the Friday is after we get through our regular routine as far as that goes in the hour and a half, hour and 2 hours. We play a text-based game called Oregon Trail. So we'll be doing the Oregon Trail off of the Commodore 64 Ultimate. This is not an old Commodore. This is a newer Commodore 64. Now, this is an old disk drive here, 1541 disk drive. That's 40 years old. But other than that, you all have a great one. Have a good Thursday evening, what I call the Want to Be Friday, I guess it's called. I used to call it, as we're working towards the weekend. And other than that, thank you again for those folks that are watching. And if this takes place tomorrow, we will be here to do the watch party again. So have a good one, folks. Live life. Have fun. Ciao for now. As always, peace. And live life and have fun, right? That's what it's all about. And God bless you all, and God bless America.